before I get started on testing this guy. Green, is it PAL or Japanese? Ooh, Japanese. Why do I have a PAL console? I think that might be one of my flickering screen consoles that I don't really know what to do with yet. Okay, notes. Chip on touchscreen. Chip on touchscreen. What do I mean by that? Am I looking at the right console? So I don't use the word chip lightly. I have no idea what I'm talking about, though, apparently. Oh, maybe it's right there. Again, it's another one of those cases where it's just right at the corner of the screen. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. The motherboard otherwise has no known issues. Let's see, okay. It's weird I didn't mention that. Let me try and see if that chip creates any issues with the touchscreen. Oh, yeah, no, you can't even see it with it on. That's kind of a wild issue. That should be, it's on the edge in a way where it's farther enough in that a screen protector should cover it. It's not distorting pixels. Wild. Okay, well, I'll carry on with that in mind. But it's not causing any visual issues. I'll see if it causes any touchscreen issues, which according to my first round of testing, it did not. So we'll see. I'll spend a little more time on it than usual. So let me look at the screens here. Top screen's a bit more red. I think maybe some very mild yellowing on the bottom screen, but I'm otherwise happy with that matching. Sometimes when I'm putting these screen pairs together, I just have to get as close as I can. I can never be 100% perfect. Slotted in my R4 card, but it is not showing up. Okay, well, I'm not going to worry about that too much because R4 cards are non-standard pieces of equipment. So, not to say if it has problems reading an R4 card, that shouldn't be in itself a problem, but it seems to be doing fine. Just maybe something about me putting it in like that. Just didn't read it for some reason. Anywho. I am going way out of order here. Okay. So I'm testing face buttons. There's a homebrew application that I'm currently in that just turns the bottom screen into just like a light board. So I'll press each button a few times to see how they respond if they match my rhythm. Face buttons I'm not worried about. They're almost always fine. Shoulder buttons are usually the ones that have the problems, so I spend a little more time with them. Thought I just saw a missed input on the left. Okay, I can't repeat it, so all of that is good. Next is touchscreen, so I can check and see if that chip creates any issues. Do a perimeter. So the chip is... I can't even see where the chip is, but I can color in that entire corner. So it's not actual damage to the digitizer itself, just maybe a little bit on the surface. But I don't see any erratic inputs that worries me. So I'll call that good. Next will be speaker, microphone, and headphone jack. I'll combo that with a SD card slot test. Okay, when I do volume up and down, the little system meter thing down there is responding. La 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 la. Okay. Use my SD card as well as the song. What I'm going to do is play the song, listen to both speakers, plug in my earbuds, and listen to both earbuds. See if both channels work. Yep. And I usually assume if the console can detect and read the contents off an SD card, it is good. It would be kind of wild for me to do that, but unable to write onto the SD card. Next is cameras. I just need to see, do they initialize and show a relatively clear image. Oh, took a photo. Oopsie. Oh well. Looks like it didn't save. This thing will be wiped anyway before I sell it, so that doesn't matter. Alright, charge port. And my USB charger or tester off to the side. Plug in the charger. Console's responding with both the software indicator as well as the orange light. Pulling 0.4 amps. Close the console. Ooh, cut out there once. But I'll jiggle the charger around to see if it blips out like it did when I first closed it, but I'm not able to repeat it. And that's kind of the name of the game. If I can't repeat a problem, then I'll just sort of deem that as sort of a, ooh, hang on. Where did that happen? It happened around here. Was I pressing down? Right now I'm pulling the charger out. Well, yeah, now it's out. Out. Where is it? So if I pull the charger out just a hair, I think it kind of cuts out. It blips in and out there for a second, but that's me pulling the charger out. When the charger is fully in, I can get it to cut out once, but I can't repeat it for some reason. So any of my normal testing to see if the charge slot is broken, or if any of the solder joints are bad, it's not failing any of that. It just sort of... I can't repeat it. It seems to be a little too random, but in my test, when I'm doing this, when I'm jiggling around the charge port connector piece, wire, whatever, I've never really decided what I wanted to call it. It's not cutting out. Steady charge the entire time, so that is good. Alright. Let me check something really quick. Okay, I did. Next is the game card slot. So I will take my rather daunting pile of 20 game cards. What I'm going to do is sort of put my R4 card in a few times to see if... Okay, it's fine. The R4 card is made up of 2 parts, so it's entirely possible that maybe the SD card slid out a little bit when I put it in initially. So I'm not too worried about it. It read the R4 card fine. And I usually don't include R4 cards in my standard game card testing protocol. Because in most cases, if it reads retail games just fine, it'll read R4 cards just fine. There are some odd cases where if the pins are bent down just a little bit, it'll read the retail cards because they're just like a hair thicker than the R4 cards. But yeah, it won't read the R4 cards because the boards are too thin. I had that in my personal DSi, the one I decided to keep. Not my XL. I got in one of my junk lots, I got a Pokemon Black shell. That's not in good shape. It's really pretty beat up, but I think it's still pretty cool. So what I'm doing for the game card slot test, as I'm sort of rattling through these, I'll put the game card in, see if it pops up, and I'll put my fingers on it and jiggle it from side to side. There's just a tiny bit of play in the game card slot. And while doing that, I'll push down on the game card until it gets to the actual click of the ejection mechanism. And I'll push it beyond that until the game card actually bottoms out in the slot, to see if I can get it to disconnect at all, even just for a fraction of a second. So far, so good. Every time it's been disappearing from the menu is because I've been manually ejecting it. And then after that, I'll slap it against my open palm to see if I can get the game card to disconnect. Which again, so far, so very good. And all of this to try and simulate sort of real life in a way. If like you're playing your console and like you set your console down on a table, if the game card disconnects and you're playing it, it will freeze your console or just shut it right off, even if it just disconnects for just a fraction of a second. Which this is the era of manual saves, which is a new. And this is, though it's sort of jiggling the game card in the game card slot, you're most likely, well, you're hopefully not touching the game card when you're playing it, but this is sort of the way I've been able to make sure that the game card slots are in good shape. Because when it has issues, I'm able to sort of catch it by doing that. By doing this sort of testing. Just a couple game cards left, and so far, very good. All right. This console passes beautifully. My little back plate, or here it is. So I will write down, just so I don't miss it in my notes like I apparently missed it last time. Chip on upper right of digitizer. So I'll have that in my knowledge when I go to do the final test. It passed both tests really nicely. I will write down, had trouble reading R4 at first. Because I do think it, even though it isn't a non-standard card, and again, it could just be because maybe when I set it down, maybe the SD card slid out just a little bit. There's no real mechanism holding this SD card in. It's just friction fit, really. So it's possible it may have come out just a little bit, so when I slotted it in... You know what, I've never actually tried that. Does the flash card even come up on the menu without the SD card? No, it doesn't, so... It could have just been that. Like I said, there's no mechanism holding this SD card in. So it's possible it just slid out a little. But I will make note of it. At first, I'll just make note, possibly, or like maybe SD card related, or SD card was not fully seated. And that'll just sort of be my note to myself that I'll just kind of pay special attention for when I come back to this console. But cleared round 2 very nicely. So it will move on and get a screen protector and hopefully clear round 3 pretty easily and get up for sale.